Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'll be reviewing the Rolex Sky Dweller in rose gold with a blue dial and a Jubilee bracelet. A new release, actually, and a very coveted dial configuration. Reference 336935. I'll tell you about the history of the Sky Dweller, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Sky Dwellers. Then I'll tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet, and then I'll finally give you my thoughts and try it on. So let's start with the history. Well, the Sky Dweller was released in 2012. It's now 2015, so that gives it a 13-year run. It's one of the newest, if maybe even the newest, but definitely one of the newest collections that Rolex offers. Now, in the dress collection, Rolex offers more or less the Datejust and the Day Date, also known as the President. And recently, as in 2012, because those other two are dated back to 1945 and 1950 respectively, the Sky Dweller is the latest addition to the dress line of watches. Now, I can't really say it's full dress line because Rolex also makes a 1908 watch, which is a total dress watch, and actually now they even make a Land Dweller. They make the Sky Dweller, and then they now make the Land Dweller. So it's not the newest, but it is one of the newer ones. And the Sky Dweller is significant because it is the largest of all the dress watches, or at least the classic line that Rolex makes. They make their Datejusts up to size 40, they make their Day Date up to size 40, but that might not be enough for some people. Some people have big wrists or they like to wear big watches. Nothing wrong with that, and Rolex has decided to oblige by creating the Sky Dweller. And that's what you see in front of you. Okay, that's a little bit about the history. Now let's tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup. Now, when the Sky Dweller first released back in 2012, they didn't have that many variations. They had it on leather strap, gold, and a few other variations. But over the years, 13 years actually to be exact, they've come up with a ton of variations. So they now make the Sky Dweller on rose gold, white gold, yellow gold. They make it on an oyster flex strap. They make it on an oyster bracelet and a Jubilee bracelet. So they make it in a lot of different and many different colors. They make it black, white, green, blue. I mean, that's a lot of variations right there. A total, it's got to be at least 30 plus variations. And over the years, they had it in Roman hour markers, index markers, you name it. Okay, but the variation that you're looking at here is perhaps the most desirable and coveted configuration. What is it? Well, obviously it's blue. Rolex actually calls it a blue gray or a blue green. Looks basically blue dial, and a blue dial against rose gold is just a combination that will never go bad. It's a beautiful combination. As you see it here, and in fact, it's such a beautiful combination that it often is selling above retail, and this one is also selling above retail, at least as of 25. That might change with the passage of time, but at least as of now, it is above retail. Okay, and what else is interesting is that this is on Jubilee bracelet. The Jubilee was only released on the Sky Dweller, I think about a year or two ago, not long, I mean in 23, I think, and it has not been out very long. So there's not so many Sky Dwellers on Jubilee. And so yeah, there you have it. Okay, this actually would be the most expensive Sky Dweller aside from the off-catalog ones. So Jubilee in rose gold with the blue dial would be the most expensive one, and it's somewhere in the 60s. Okay, retail is 57.8. Actually, the retail Rolex changed it. I think it was in the low 50s before, and now it's in the high 50s. So Rolex is upping their game and their prices and their demand and everything else. All right, now let's start talking about the watch itself. Let's starting with the case. Now, it's the only dress watch that Rolex makes at 42 millimeters, or even bigger than 40 millimeter actually. is the Sky Door. It's quite a thick, well, thick when you compare it to other watches that uh, of its same class. It's a little bit thicker. I didn't measure it, but I think it's around 13 millimeters or so, maybe a little bit more. But it's a tad thicker than the day date. It's still not terribly thick, but it is 42 millimeters, so it is quite large. But when you see it on my wrist in a little bit, you'll see that it's not that large. Okay, that's the case. They make this case in rose gold, which is the gold is made in Rolex's foundries, and it has your typical oyster case, which is a smooth, sleek lines on the lugs and the side of the case. Okay, now let's move on to the bezel. Now the bezel here is quite fantastic. This is actually a command bezel. And what does that mean? It means that the bezel is used to help set the time without the use of any pushers. This is actually an annual calendar. It can calculate the date, and it does not need to be reset except on one date, which is February 28th or 29th, depending if it's a leap year. Only needs to be set one time. That's actually a pretty cool feature. And it has a GMT function here. That means it can tell the time zone in another area, such as Asia or Europe or Africa, if you're reading time here in the USA. So that's why this watch is a little bit thicker, because it has those two functions. In fact, it is the most complicated of all the dress watches that Rolex makes. I'll call them dress watches. When I refer to dress watches, I mean their classic line, which is the date just and the day date. It's actually the most complicated. It has GMT and an annual calendar. All right, so how does it work? Well, you turn the bezel and you can select. It's a bidirectional rotating bezel. It's a command ring. No other brand does that, by the way, that you use the bezel as the part that is able to change the date. In fact, Patek Philippe, which is the top or one of the top brands, you have to actually use a pin pusher to change the date, which is kind of lame, to be honest, because those pin pushers, you can lose them. Most people do, and you can't change the date anymore. Kind of lame, right? Okay. Anyways, this isn't a how-to video, so I'm not going to show you all the details of a how-to, but let's suffice it to say that the red dot that it's pointing to indicates the month. So if it's 1 through 12, same as hours. So it's quite an ingenious system, actually. It's not too cumbersome, and you can still read the date. So if it's, for example, here at 8 o'clock, then that would correspond to August. If it's at 4, then 4 o'clock it'd be April. If at 12 o'clock it'd be December, so on and so forth. And of course, the date 1 through 31, it will be on the right hand side, 3 o'clock position where it normally is. And then, as I said, you can set the 24-hour GMT hand to whatever country or time zone you like to. So it's quite a useful watch, actually. I would probably say it's the most useful. Annual calendar, pretty useful, and GMT, very useful, because a lot of people do trade or relatives or whatever overseas, or sometimes they go overseas themselves and they need to tell the time. Okay, anyways, that's enough for the bezel. I sort of already touched on it for the dial, so I guess that's part of the dial too. The dial is, as I said, the most coveted dial configuration. They call it a blue-green. Basically, it looks blue to me. And they make it in other colors, chocolate, I think, white, I think, what else? Gray, or what is it, slate they call it. And it has a very high luminescent at the index markers. So just a very beautiful dial. Actually, the most beautiful if you ask me. Okay, that is the dial, the bezel. Now the bracelet. Bracelet also, let's see, the bracelet I think came out, as I said earlier in the video, around 23, but it didn't start hitting the market, at least the secondary market, until around 24. And it's a Jubilee, the classic Jubilee. And why would you want your watch on Jubilee? Well, I'll give you some reasons. The Jubilee is actually better form fitting than the Oyster, in that it fits around your wrist. Why? Because the links are smaller. It has a high polish down the center and brush down the sides. And it's just done, it makes the watch, it adds more detail to the watch, if you ask me. The Oyster is great, but it makes it look more sporty, and the bigger links actually doesn't make the watch scratch more, but it allows the scratches to appear more pronounced on the Oyster. As opposed to Jubilee, because the links are small, You don't see the gaping scratches that might occur, even though they're there, but they're less pronounced, and it's more form-fitting, and it sort of breaks up the watch into finer detail, if you ask me, on the Jubilee. And I would say on a bigger watch, it might be a benefit to go with a Jubilee, since it makes the watch look a bit more less big, if you will. The Oyster just provides a lot of space, so it just actually even makes it look even bigger. Okay, anyways, those are my thoughts, but that's up to you. Now, the Jubilee is same as the Oyster. It does have a comfort extension, which is quite nice, and yeah, it has 5mm comfort extension, same buckle. All right, now time to try this watch on, or the movement. Yes, the movement has also been upgraded from the previous generation, which I think was a 9001. Now the caliber is a 9002. Has a longer power reserve of 72 hours. It's more precise. It has a nicer finish to it. Although you can't see it, it's just a very nice movement. And Rolex has had about 10 years to figure out what's wrong with the old one and upgrade it so that the new one no longer has that issue. I have had some older SkyDollars with have some minor issues. Of course, we can fix them, but I believe that the new generation SkyDollars are not going to have any of those issues. And yeah, so it's just a beautiful work of art, actually, that Rolex has done here, and great marketing too. So there you go. Let's try this watch on my wrist. I'm 200 pounds. I am 6 foot tall, and I have a 7.5 inch wrist. And as you see, a 42mm watch looks perfect on me. And I can actually recommend it for those who have a 7-inch wrist or larger. And for those who have smaller, I probably would say you should stick with a 40mm or smaller. But those who have a 7-inch wrist or larger, which is a lot of people, by the way, can benefit from this watch. And why? Well, first, most people that know Rolex know that first, this is the top dog when it comes to SkyDollar, and SkyDollar is the top dog when it comes to the classic line of Rolex, and the color configuration is the top. So this is pretty much the best watch that you can get, and therefore it does sell a bit above retail. But interestingly enough, it's not that much over retail if you consider that in every state you have to pay tax. So not much over retail. Retail is around 58,000 after tax. It can be in the low 60s, and that's right around where we're selling it, with a little bit of premium on top of that, at least as of 25. Who knows what things will change, but you know, if you want to buy at the lowest price, though, no matter where, online, please go to jazztime.com. So my thoughts are, it's a great watch. SkyDollar has proven itself to be a very heavy hitter in the Rolex collection, and I think if you want to buy this watch, please go to jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.